Next slide. This is what Mother says about devotion. You have but to become. It is the laziness to become that makes one worship. What do you mean by worshipping? You become it. Huh? You know, the words of Mother are so dangerous. You say I am worshipping, you are lazy. It is the tamasic being in you which is worshipping. I do not want a religion and end it to religions. And we are going to read Bhakti Yoga. Anyway, we will go it fast. Because it is a necessary part of the yoga. We need it also, even though there is a duality there. Next. The love and the triple path. Just as there are the three paths of will, knowledge and love, there are also three modes of worshipping. You have the ritual part of the worship, the kriya, what we know as the panchopacharas, shodashopacharas. And then you have the becoming part of the devotion, where you merge with the consciousness which you love. That is heart, Bhakti Yoga. And then you know the logic of Upasana, the rationale of Upasana, that is the knowledge. So even in the Bhakti Yoga, you have the three, the Karma Kanda without understanding the rationale, Karma Kanda with understanding the rationale means Jnana Yoga of worship with Karma Yoga of worship. And now when you unite, the union gives the love, the Ananda, that is Bhakti Yoga of works. Bhakti Yoga of devotion. So again in devotion you have these three, the Karma Kanda, the Jnana Kanda, and the unification of these two, Bhakti Kanda. Next. just back. Sarvam karmakhilam jnane parisamapyate. So this yoga of devotion is a merger of works and knowledge. Am I clear about it? In devotion, you are offering a puja, that is karma kanda. You have a rationale for doing the puja, that is jnana kanda. And through this karma kanda and the jnana kanda, you merge into the God, that is bhakti, devotion. But Sri Aurobindo wants that in the end, it is the knowledge which is important. So the devotion is a temporary scaffolding so that you can grow, your consciousness can grow into the various consciousness of the devatas. A Kali, you grow into the level of Kali. And remember that to whomsoever divinity you pray, you reach overmind. The gods are all in the overmind. So in that way, the yoga of devotion, Bhakti Yoga, becomes very important tool to reach overmind. But again, if you want to reach the supermind, it will not help. Sarvam karmam karmakhilam jnane parisamapyate. In the knowledge, in the integral knowledge, everything is merged. But do you understand the importance of devotion? Because if you can catch one level of overmind, that is exactly what Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's life gives you a proof. If once you reach the overmind, after years of sadhana, he reached the overmind of Kali, then what could he do? All other gods in 3 days. You understand the point? So that is the importance of Bhakti Yoga.
So
Next.
the overmind can be reached by following the traditional discipline also.
Right.
Without resorting to Sri Aurobindo's routine yoga, up to overmind one can go.
But if you have so many tools to grow, let us use them. That is integration. Next. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. So it is the knowledge in the end which is important, because it is the mind which is supposed to grow till over mind, and after that the mind goes. What comes? Understanding comes, Vijnana comes. You should know the difference between Vijnana and mind. The mind is stilled completely. Next. Integral yoga may commence with the way of love, that is Bhakti Yoga, as with way of knowledge or works. This is Jnana Yoga and this is Karma Yoga. But where they meet is the beginning of its joy of fulfillment. Love it cannot miss, even if it does not start from it. For love is the crown of works at the flowering of knowledge. As I have told you, the Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda must unite to become a Bhakti. That is love. And love is Ananda. And actually, let us see. The motives of devotion may be many. Next. When I say the motives of devotion, your Ishtadeva. The motive is your Ishtadeva. Next. The Godward devotions, the Bhagavata says there are 9 levels. You go to the Bhagavata, you have the Shravana, which makes you turn towards him. Then Kirtana, singing his glories, you are attracted towards him. Then Smarana, you go on remembering his glories. Then Padasevana, remember, this Padasevana is a state of consciousness in higher mind. There are 7 states of consciousness in higher mind. In one slide I have given that. That is your homework. In the yoga of knowledge, these levels are not physical. They are states of higher mind. Like Sadas, he says, it is a part of higher mind. Gruha, he says, it is a part of higher mind. But Gruha and Sadas for us, Pada, all these are states of higher mind that you remember. You don't try to say the egoistic aspects of surrendering and worshipping the feet of a guru. You may do it as a part of Karma Yoga, but you should have the knowledge of the reality. And the last, of course, is complete surrender. And this complete surrender is with which we start our first step of integral yoga. Next. Next. Then the tantric sadhana. And you remember, the entire integral yoga is a tantric sadhana. You always remember it. Even though our present egoic connotations, tantra has a negative meaning because of the panchamakaras. But you have to renounce it. You have to renounce that concept, that is the egoic concept, which puts a hurdle in understanding the tantric concept. And in tantric concept, the marriages, especially how Meera married Krishna, if you can understand the real spirit of Tantra.